Welcome back to yet another exciting episode on the Mzansi YouTube channel. My name is Zondo and I'd like to welcome all of you to yet another exciting episode. Today we want to take a deep dive into a very interesting topic, and the question at hand is, has the EFF ran out of steam? We're talking about one party that we saw its rise. We are now experiencing and seeing also a bit of its challenges at hand, and yet loved, a bit hated, critiqued by many, is still at the forefront of our South African politics. We're asking this question because we're looking at the upcoming December conference. Will the current leadership, will the current structure, and will it actually overcome the challenges that are also at hand? What are your thoughts in terms of, has the EFF ran or is running out of steam? So in 2013, we're introduced to a group of women and men who showed up to us wearing red overalls and helmets at times. And who are these people? This was the EFF, founded by then the former ANC youth leader Julius Malema, and the party named Economic Freedom Fighters. This was the birth, perhaps, of one of the most influential political parties we have seen take the space into the country, as well as also recognized on a more African and a global level. So Malema's words first uttered to say, this is going to be the home of the homeless. This is now the home of everyone who has felt neglected and that they did not belong or concur with the ANC at the time. This would now be the very party as well that went on to attract a lot of young people who also were frustrated, who needed the change. And in their statement, they said, we shall experience economic freedom in our lifetime. And I think this is one party as well we've seen in parliament, we've seen what they advocate for, that they are not scared of showing up face to anyone. We've seen them tackle issues that perhaps for many of us have long been really put aside because we didn't have the voice and the platform to advocate for that. And this is the very party now, to this day, that if you mention them and mention any challenge you have, you best believe that an action would be taken. This is what Julius Malema does represent, I think, in our African context as well, to then say, if we truly do not face head on the current issues that we face as a country, and that if we do not take a stand in also addressing these issues, we might not see any form of change. We look at the victories that they've had. I think looking at what many branches as well, or many political parties have came about, no one has been able to amass the kind of numbers and influence and drive that the EFF has had. But now the question has had is, what has now happened to all of that fire? Because clearly the 2024 elections have taken a different turn on the economic freedom fighters. The 2024 elections came as a shock to many of us, and particularly the EFF, when they dropped from being the third biggest party onto a fourth place. This is because we're introduced to a new political party, MK. And for many of us as South Africans, we were taken by a storm, knowing very well the men behind it as well, notably Jacob Zuma. Now, this decline led to the EFF also losing its key prominent figures, notably Floyd Shibambu, Dali Mpofu, to name the list. This alone caused a lot of revolts and a lot of issues in and around the political party itself. Now, we must remember that Jacob Zuma is yet again the man that had initially expelled Julius Malema back when they were both in the ANC. And there is one statement, I think, where Julius says, I do apologize for having given you a president at the time who cannot think and a president who does not represent us as a country. So you can understand the feud, I think, amongst MK and EFF. And now, if EFF is then losing its prominent figures to this reorganization, what does this mean for Malema? What does this mean for his leadership? Because notably as well, there has been some critics saying we see that his leadership style is more authoritative. than one, I guess, which may indeed push certain individuals out. We are not yet to see that. However, with Mbuyiseni Ndlozi now being expelled from the upcoming December conference, it does then beg the question to say, you've already lost the brains of the organization, Floyd being the policy man, the guy who did somewhat the dirty work. And you had the charming voice, the intellectual as well, Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, who would rally together a lot of the people. And now those two individuals are not yet to be seen. The EFF is now indeed left with its CIC, with its fierce voice and speeches that do get people up there. But the question at hand then remains, will the EFF be able to push through on this coming December conference, as well as what does that look like for the organization? Because MK is presenting now another alternative to those that also say the ANC, the EFF is not really delivering to our promise. And my other fear, though, perhaps as my own general comment, is to say, what does this mean for our South African politics? Because it appears to me that if ever there's a new political party, we are mostly drawn to join it. Is it our need for immediate change? Is it our need for that? Perhaps this is another quick solution that would resolve our issues. Because yes, the EFF might be one in particular. However, generally speaking, what does this mean for politics going ahead? And so the question at hand again lies to say, is the EFF running out of steam? Is Malema's leadership style putting the organization as well as the entire entity of EFF in jeopardy? And is there a way that they will be able to overcome the current turmoils within their leadership structure, which again, the December conference will be able to answer many of those questions? And so to you now, what do you make of this? What does this mean for EFF? And can they actually rise above this? Will they actually be able to overcome this? And another question perhaps to ask is, have they reached their peak? Is this the ceiling for the EFF? Does this then mean that the EFF, as well as what Julius Malema has been able to do, comes perhaps to this very end? Or could this yet be another rebirth that we are about to witness? Because there's many prominent figures as well and many others who have left the organization. And a lot of people are now asking themselves to say, what can we now expect? What can we now see from the EFF from these very challenges that they have at hand? And of course, they are not the first. Many political parties have went through this kind of change, but not many have been able to survive and perhaps overcome these challenges at hand. And so hence I bring you to say, what do you make of this? What are your thoughts in and around the EFF? What are your thoughts in and around the, Mbuyiseni Ndlozi being expelled, Floyd leaving, and will Julius actually run for a third term now? Because his first one, really they made huge impact and influence. The second one was where they really showed their dominance. But this now in specific was the one where they were supposed to solidify themselves. However, they have not been able to achieve that. So what are your thoughts? Do you think that the EFF is indeed running out of steam? Can they actually emerge from this? I'd like to hear your views. And please then do comment, do like, as well as hit that bell icon so that you can keep getting notified when we upload new topics. I look forward then to presenting yet another one to you soon enough. And for now at least, goodbye. So what are your thoughts? Do you think that the EFF is indeed running out of steam? Can they actually emerge from this? I'd like to hear your views. And please then do comment, do like, as well as hit that bell icon so that you can keep getting notified when we upload new topics. I look forward then to presenting yet another one to you soon enough. And for now at least, goodbye.